Hello everyone, this is Zibo and welcome to today's Who to Pull video. So if you guys can see on the screen right now, I have God of Harvest Kamael on the next banner up for the global server. So yes, Kamael is finally here. I've seen a lot of comments about you guys talking about when is Kamael coming, you know, like when can I get Kamael kind of stuff. So Kamael is finally here. He's in the upcoming banner. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the different heroes. In fact, I think all the heroes are pretty decent. Maybe Zelos is not that good and Beth is really niche to PvE, but most of them are decent in one way or another. So let us talk about the heroes today. So first of all, we'll start with God of Harvest Kamael, right? So this is one unit that a lot of people are concerned about. I have seen a lot of comments talking about him. So yeah, this unit is really powerful. So why is he really powerful? Because of his stat line. His stat line is one of the most top tier stats, like one of the top 10 attack, one of the top 5 HP, one of the top 5 defense. So overall, he has massive stats, and on top of having a massive stat, he also has a really crazy ability, and that is to attack the enemy and absorb HP from there at the same time. So you have a fixed percentage heal, about 5% if I'm not wrong, and at the same time, right, it also allows him to reduce the range defense of enemy. So he's able to heal your allies, heal himself, deal damage, and reduce opponent's range defense. So that's why he's so crazy, right? Other than that, his chain skill allows him to do 220% DPS, not a really high number, but I think it's fair because he's going to be boosted by the airborne ability and he has a massive stat, so he's going to do a lot nonetheless. And it also allows him to restore allies HP by 20% and remove any negative debuffs. So yeah, that's that. A lot of heal, a lot of damage. And lastly, the special ability, very straightforward. One line ability, increase circle of life damage and recovery by 35%. So this increases the healing capacity and the damage output of the normal attack. So I think I don't need to talk too much about Kamael. Top tier unit, used nearly everywhere. Raid, Colosseum, Arena, like Euro, you name it, right? Orbital Lift, Amazon Land, you name the game mode, you can use him. Pretty much every game mode, Kamael is usable. So it's really feasible. He can be a DPS damage dealer, he can be a healer, and he can also act as a debuffer for the team if you need him to be. So that's why pull for him if you haven't gotten him yet. As much as I do not really like him because he kind of spoils the balance of the game, he's really beginner friendly. So if you're new to the game, definitely go for him. He'll help you on your journey very well. So that's pretty much it for Kamael. And let's move on to the next unit. So I'll move on to the right side, which is Dark Magician Beth. So Beth is a unit that is currently very PvE centric. She's really good in Amazon, really good in Orbital Lift, but you know, pretty average everywhere else. Maybe a bit of raid as well, right? Because Dark melee team. So in short, I think if you are focusing on your PvE contents, you're not really too focused on Arena, Beth is also a top tier pool for PvE contents because you can clear very high levels of Orbital Lift with like 2 healers and 1 Beth and 1 tanker, because Beth herself is a semi-tank with a special ability, and that's why she's really good in a game mode where you're fighting a lot of enemies all at once, right? So that's where Beth shines. And other than that, right, her ability to apply Dark debuff is always gonna be really invaluable for your Dark melee teams. So I don't see Beth fading out of the raid scene anytime soon. And if you don't have a Dark team, you can still use Beth in the melee team because the party buff is melee damage plus 50%. So overall, Beth is still a good pick, probably to the PvE side, but Arena side not really. Like, she's not super good anymore. Like, she gets countered by a lot of units and she just doesn't do enough in a 1v1 setting because her battle instinct is not maximized, right? Because if you're only fighting one enemy, I think you're only getting like 15%. So that's why in Arena, not really that strong. But she is still usable, okay? So if you're pulling for Beth, PvE queen and usable in Arena, still a good pick overall. So that's pretty much it for Beth. Let us move on to Gabriel. So for Gabriel's side, okay, so Gabriel is another unit that's just really good everywhere else except for Arena, right? You can use Gabriel in Orbital Lifts, basically similar sense to Beth, right? Gabriel is also extremely good in Colosseum, right? So because you can put her in a light team, you can put her in a range team. She provides a critical chance buff for the whole party. She provides a heal for the whole party as well as a debuff removal. So you can like remove the debuff from opposing Kamaels or opposing Gabriel, because Gabriel also applies a light resist down with her exclusive weapon. So yeah, Gabriel is pretty much like a light version of Beth in terms of usage. Like, they can be used in multiple game modes, just not as good in Arena. Still usable though if you have the correct team setup. So yeah, another top tier pick as well. But if you ask me to choose between Bev, Gabriel and Kamael, Kamael is definitely top tier pick. Then maybe Gabriel, because I think range teams are just in general a little bit stronger. So going for the range unit, Gabriel is a lot more valuable. But Bev will definitely be essential for you to clear the higher levels of orbital lift, so do take note of that. So with the three behemoths for this banner up, let us move on to the next one. Okay, so next up we have Necromancer Noxia. So Noxia, 2 words, right? Colosseum and Arena. This is like the 2 game modes that Noxia excels at. Probably the best game modes for her. She doesn't really perform that well everywhere else. Like, she's not bad, but she's not the top tier choice if you're looking to speed run through your other game modes like your orbital lift, your Amazon land. You need other units instead of her. But she's definitely one of the top tier picks for the Colosseum and Arena meta, because she counters a lot of range units, she counters a lot of basic unit, and she can like win really easily against unit that doesn't really chain her fast enough, because her chain skill is so strong. Like 2 chain skill, like 2 weapon skill chain is just insanely good, and like the range as well as the speed whereby the weapon skill come out is just insane. So overall, Noxia, great pull for Arena and Colosseum, and if you're looking to focus on these 2 game mode, definitely go for her. So let us move on to the next one. We have Lina. So for Lina's case, I think right now she's just really good against the Earth meta, and she's like I talked about her in the previous who to pull video. So if you guys want to know more about her, go and visit her. But in general, she's just a really good anti-Earth meta hero and just really strong as a whole in dealing damage. So that's why she's currently a hot pick. But not very sure whether or not she will stay for very long, because units that hit really hard, they tend to get power crept really easily by a much stronger and more hard-hitting unit. So that's pretty much it, my opinion for Lina. And let's move on to Zelos, which is the last unit as well as the featured character on today's list. So Zelos is a unit that is, I'll say, very niche or very gimmicky, because I think the teleporting mechanic is kind of weak, because you can't really use it to dodge stuff. Unfortunately, I might be wrong that you could actually dodge with your teleporting, but so far I haven't execute any successful dodge with it yet, so I doubt it's possible. And the thing about Zelos is the party buff as well, because yes, you have weapon skill regen speed, and yes, your skill does a lot of damage, and that pretty much limits your team setup, because you can't really put him in a double defense. If you put him with 2 other tanks, right, your team is not going to deal a lot of damage. If you put him with range attackers, the range attack benefit is not really as good compared to a skill damage, because the range attack is more for hyper offense, where you just shoot your opponents down. So you kind of don't want to wait until your weapon skill, and that's why weapon skill regen speed with range isn't really like the best setup. And if you think about it, honestly speaking, you don't really see a lot of range, you don't really see a lot of weapon skill regen speed unit running around, because the meta is just too hyper offensive, like I mentioned many times. So that's why he's got to be kind of niche, right? He's got to be good in the Veronica team together with like maybe 1 other tank. So Veronica, Zelos and 1 other tank. But that's pretty much it. Really niche unit in terms of Arena, and not very good everywhere else. So he's not a top priority. Definitely skippable if you're into the strength of the unit instead of like the rarity. But if you're into collecting all the units, then definitely go for him. And that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you very much everybody for tuning in. Do remember to like and subscribe in order to see more videos from the channel. I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.